You've heard the term cloud computing thrown around constantly, right? It sounds kind of vague, maybe a little bit like magic, but I promise you, it's not. So over the next few minutes, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you that the cloud is way more down to earth than you think. Let's demystify this thing.
To really understand why the cloud is such a big deal, we first have to get the problem it was designed to solve. So let's hop in a time machine and go back to the bad old days, the days of the pre-cloud IT headache.
So, imagine this for a second. You launch a new website and against all odds, it goes viral, like overnight. Traffic is just exploding. Now that should be the best day of your life, right? A dream come true. Well, in the old days, that dream could quickly turn into your absolute worst nightmare. So, why was that?
It all came down to this. You were stuck owning your own physical servers. You had to go out and buy these huge, ridiculously expensive server racks, and you had to buy enough of them to handle your busiest day of the year. The rest of the time, all that incredibly expensive hardware, all that computing power, was just sitting there, collecting dust. It was an unbelievable waste of money and resources.
So out of this massive headache came a truly revolutionary idea. The cloud wasn't just a new piece of technology, it was a completely different way of thinking about how we use computers.
So, what is it officially? Well, the National Institute of Standards and Technology gives us this fantastic, crystal-clear definition. The key phrases to lock onto here are pay-per-use and on-demand. Instead of owning all the gear yourself, you're basically just renting access to this giant shared pool of computers, and, this is the magic part, you only pay for exactly what you use.
Okay, so let's break that down into what really makes the cloud, well, the cloud. First, that pay-per-use model we just talked about. Stop paying for waste. Second, elastic capacity. This is huge. It creates the illusion of infinite resources. If your site gets slammed with traffic, you instantly get more power. When the traffic dies down, you instantly scale back. It's self-service. You can do it all yourself from a web page. And finally, the resources are abstracted. You don't know or care which physical server is running your code. You just know you have the power you need when you need it.
Now you gotta understand, the cloud didn't just pop into existence overnight. It's really the culmination of decades of progress in 4 different areas all coming together at the perfect time. We're talking about hardware virtualization getting better, the internet getting faster, distributed computing getting smarter, and systems management becoming way more efficient. All of those had to happen first.
In this right here, this visualizes the whole game-changing shift in thinking. We moved away from the old model of having one giant central computer, a mainframe that did everything. Instead, we moved to a distributed model, with tons of smaller computers all networked together sharing the load. That is the fundamental idea that makes the cloud possible.
Okay, but here's the thing. The cloud isn't this one single monolithic thing. It's much better to think of it as a stack of services, kind of like a cake with different layers. And each layer gives you a different amount of control and does a different amount of the work for you. Let's slice into it.
And to make this crystal clear, we're going to use my absolute favorite analogy for this: ordering a pizza. Seriously, it works perfectly. Depending on how much of the work you want to do yourself, you've got 3 basic choices. Okay, option number 1, infrastructure as a service, or IaaS. Think of this as the make-it-yourself pizza kit. The cloud provider gives you the kitchen, the oven, the electricity, the water, but you have to bring your own dough, sauce, and cheese. You're in charge of making and managing the entire pizza yourself. This gives you the most control. Amazon's EC2 is the classic example here.
Option 2 is platform as a service, or PaaS. In this scenario, the pizza place gives you the kitchen and the pre-made pizza dough. All you have to do is put on your own special toppings and bake it. You get to focus on the creative part, the pizza itself, without worrying about managing the kitchen. Google App Engine is a perfect example of this.
And then you've got the easiest option of all, software as a service, or SaaS. This is just ordering pizza. That's it. It shows up at your door, fully cooked, ready to eat. You don't manage anything. The software is already built and ready to go. You just open your web browser and start using it. Think Salesforce or even Google Docs.
So, let's connect our pizza story back to the tech world. This is exactly how it works. At the very bottom, you've got the raw ingredients, the infrastructure as a service. In the middle, you have the platform for developers to build on, the platform as a service. And right at the top, you have the finished applications that everyone uses, the software as a service. See? Pizza.
All right, so we've got the what. We know about the pizza layers, but now the question is where? Where do these cloud computers actually live? And who owns them? That brings us to the different ways you can deploy a cloud.
This diagram lays it out perfectly. You've basically got three main flavors. You've got your public clouds, which anyone can use. You've got your private clouds, which are built for just one company. And then you've got a mix of the two called hybrid clouds. Which one you choose really depends on what you need when it comes to things like control, security, and flexibility. So let's put these two head to head. A public cloud, think Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure, is right there in the name. It's for the public. You share resources with other customers and you pay as you go. It's fantastic for websites and apps with unpredictable traffic. A private cloud, though, that's the total opposite. It's a data center built for one and only one organization. This gives them maximum control and security, which is perfect for really sensitive data.
But this is where things get really smart. The hybrid cloud is all about getting the best of both worlds. A company can keep its most sensitive core systems running on its super secure private cloud, but when they get a sudden spike in demand, like on Black Friday, they can cloud burst and automatically borrow extra power from a public cloud. It's security when you need it and scalability when you need it.
You see, this wasn't just some tech upgrade for the IT department. This massive shift in how we use computers sparked a full-blown business revolution. It wasn't just about better technology. It was about totally new economics.
And that revolution has a name: Cloudonomics. This is all about the business drivers. Companies could finally stop spending millions of dollars on capital expenses, buying servers, and switch to operational expenses. They went from buying to renting. And that wasn't just some accounting trick. It completely changed the game. All of a sudden, a tiny startup could access the exact same world-class computing power as a massive global corporation. It was a total game changer.
This quote from our source material just nails it. The illusion of infinite computing resources, the elimination of an upfront commitment, and the ability to pay for use as needed, that right there, that's the powerful idea that has fueled this entire revolution and completely reshaped modern business.
So, look at the journey we've just taken. We started with a simple, practical problem, wasted servers, and we ended up with a technology that literally powers the global economy. The cloud solved the infrastructure problem, and in doing so, it unleashed a tidal wave of innovation. But it also created a new, much more complicated question. As we all move our most important data and applications from servers we own to clouds owned by a handful of giant companies, we have to ask, who really controls the off switch? That's the next big question for all of us to think about.